What's up, everybody? This is Nerdpool's Livecast, where we're gonna cover everything that every nerd has a nerddom. One of the first things that I figured I'd cover is Dragon Ball Z. It's something I've watched since I was a little kid. I've always been a big fan of it, and I probably always will be. And what better way to do that than just ranking a bunch of characters? Placing them in tiers that I feel they belong, because it's my podcast.
Wait, what the hell?
Shut up, Nappa. First up, we'll start with Yamcha. Because I put this little list in the order that you see it in here. So, yeah. Anyway, first up, we're going to start with Yamcha. I figured we'd go with, a basis. We had to have somebody to base trash on, because let's face it, Yamcha has never done anything successful. His cat Poir has done more things successful than he has. That's just shameful. Next, we've got Krillin. And whether you want to believe it or not, I think he belongs up here in A tier. And only because of his feats in Dragon Ball Super, which were totally wonky. I mean, he beat Gohan. He beat Goku. That shouldn't have happened. He should have died after Goku just, punched him through several walls and into a boulder. So Krillin could feel his strength. That was kind of wonky, but still, he was able to keep up with him purely based on his martial arts talent and intuition, because he's been training as long as Goku has. And he's seen all the major fights. He's been on every major battlefield. Yamcha dies almost every arc. Almost. I mean, we don't really see him in the Cell games other than getting his ass kicked by Cell Jr. And then in the Buu arc, I don't think he's prevalent at all. And then Super was great because they showed how irrelevant he was by him waiting around for his invitation to the Tournament of Power. And he's just hanging out in his apartment, never getting it. Anyway, let's move on. Next, we've got Master Roshi. And I'm actually going to rank him about the same as Krillin. I'll give him an A. I mean, he did train Krillin, so, I'm not scaling this on power. I'm doing this based on how I feel they are. More like a badass scale, kind of. And, Master Roshi really showed his shit in the Tournament of Power. I mean, he hasn't really been relevant since Dragon Ball. So it was kind of cool to see him in action again in Dragon Ball Super. He eliminated a couple people, used the Mafuba. He even caught Vegeta in that shit. So that just shows, that's kind of a broken technique, but still, it was nice to see the old Muten Roshi back in action. Next, we got Chi-Chi. And being that she's the only woman that Goku is scared of, pretty much the only person Goku is scared of, I gotta place her up here at S+. I mean, come on. Goku can go God mode, and he will still run, hide, and cower from Chi-Chi. She's a beast. All hail Chi-Chi. Next, we got Yajirobe. And, I'm going to place him in D tier. More for, comic relief. I always find him funny when he's on the screen. And, to be completely honest, I think of him more from, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, with his metrosexual relationship with Korin. Or is that bestiality? I don't know. Let's not cover that on this podcast. Next, we got Tien. And I'm going to place him at C, purely based on his feats later in the series. Early on in the series in Dragon Ball, he was actually really one of the toughest human beings on Earth. He made Goku take off his weighted training clothes, which we didn't see that happen before then. Goku was always pretty sure of himself. So, You know, he does pretty good. I like Tien more than I like Yajirobe. Next we got Chaozu, and I'm gonna place him down with trash. He's a Pokemon. I will always remember him as a Pokemon from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And then we got Piccolo, Gohan's dad. I'm gonna place him up here in S rank. Whoops. He is the only guy. Well, I shouldn't say guy. I don't know what he is because he doesn't have a penis. But he's the only person in Dragon Ball Z who was actually sure of himself that he could beat a Super Saiyan when they were going to the Cell games. I believe his line was, "If you don't think you can beat a Super Saiyan, don't even bother showing up." That's badass in itself. And he's in these Cell games, when he fought against Android 17, well, that was pre-Cell games. You know what? I'll wait till I get to that part later. Just purely on the fact that this alien who came to Earth, well, he didn't come to Earth. He was born on Earth through an egg because Goku killed his dad. And, you know, he was hell-bent on killing Goku, became his friend, and then trained with him throughout the rest of the series. Just because he wanted to keep up. He wanted to be that guy to take care of Goku's son because Goku can't. Best dad. Next, we got Raditz, who I place in trash. Raditz didn't really do anything except for start a storyline. And he was weaker than a Cyberman. Weaker than a Cyberman.
That usually gets to him.
Speaking of which, we got Nappa. And Nappa, I love Nappa. But you know what? I'm gonna give him an S tier, purely based on the memes and Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I fucking love Nappa. And he managed to kill like 75% of the Z fighters before Goku showed up. He would have taken out the rest if Goku was later. Alright, next we got the Cybermen, who I put in D tier because they're stronger than Raditz. And you can grow them. And they took out Yamcha. Need I say more? Alright, that's it for the Saiyan Saga era. Next, we'll go to Planet Namek, where we meet Dodoria, who I never cared for. And he may have been strong at one point, but Vegeta wiped him out pretty easy. Zarbon, I always hated him. I'm gonna have a lot of trash. Zarbon, I never got the point of him at all. I don't know. You know, I get they were supposed to be, you know, Frieza's underlings, but they were poop. Then we get the Ginyu Force. Raccoon. I'm gonna put this guy in B tier. Again, Dragon Ball Z Abridged had a lot of influence on this list. I did have a different feeling about Raccoon before watching that. You know, before that I probably would have put him in trash because, you know, he got his ass kicked by Goku with ease. I know this isn't power scaling, but I mean, that was his only notable feat. I don't really remember much about him other than that. I haven't gone back and watched the Frieza saga for a little while, but I remember him beating up on Krillin and Gohan and Vegeta, but he didn't get the kill on any of them. You know, he was just toying with them. You're supposed to be one of Frieza's minions. You go for the kill, because that's what Frieza would do. You know, he put a couple holes in you, and then he'd kill you. Goldo, his ability was something to do with, he was a psychic. So, you know, he could freeze you in place and then attack you. I'll put him in D tier. just because the concept of him was cool, but he died pretty quick. Vegeta made quick work of him. Geese, trash. He reminds me of Jimmy Hart from wrestling. He was just there to pretty much talk up the other guys, but when it came to his fighting skills, he couldn't do shit. Next, we got Berter, the fastest creature in the universe, except for Frieza and Captain Ginyu and King Cold when he's still alive. But I'll still say I'm the fastest. I'll put him in C, just because of his pride. He sucked, but he was very prideful. He boasted himself up, even though, if he would have said that in front of Frieza, I'm pretty sure Frieza would have shot him. Death beam, Alright, next on the list we got Captain Ginyu. And I hated his poses. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. That stupid posing shit. I was always annoyed when it came on screen. I was always annoyed when they were together in a group. But when it comes down to it, he almost killed Goku. He's got a hell of a battle prowess. And if you watched Super, he was able to make it the whole way from Planet Namek to Earth and survive for, 10 years? 15 years from the time of the Frieza saga to the time Beerus arrived, something like that. So, and that was only as a Toad. So, this guy, I give him an A just for being a survivalist. Gotta give the guy props. And if it wasn't for that Toad, he probably would have finished taking out the Z fighters, and then Frieza probably would have got his immortality. It was just because of that Toad. Goku got lucky. Plot armor. Alright, next, we've got the Emperor of the Universe himself. And, I gotta give him an S tier. Just because he's the only person that Goku wanted to train with. He wished Frieza was good before he ever met Majin Buu or anything. He had no desire to fight Cell again. But before Buu, that was his desire. He wanted Frieza to be like a good training partner. He even said it himself, that Frieza would make an excellent sparring partner if he wasn't trying to destroy the universe. And I love his laugh. And he's so proper. And the guy that plays him, the voice acts for Frieza, he's just amazing. So, yeah, I gotta give it to the guy. He's up in S tier. Solid. Some of these other guys might get moved around, but Frieza, definitely S. Then, after he gets slaughtered, we got Trunks. This starts the Android saga. And, people are probably gonna hate me for this, but I gotta put him in D tier. I'm really not a big Trunks fan. He's kind of a whiny little bitch as future Trunks. He's, definitely Vegeta incarnate. People are gonna probably hate me for that until they see later. Don't hate me yet. Watch the rest of the video. Alright, next we got Pillsbury Doughboy, Android 19. And I'll put him in C tier. I can't really say too much about him. He didn't really talk much, but he put up a hell of a fight against Goku. He drained him of most of his life energy, his ki, and if it wasn't for Vegeta finally going Super Saiyan, finally, then I don't know. Things probably would have turned out a lot differently. Plot armor. Dr. Gero. I gotta put him in A tier. He didn't do much himself as far as battle prowess, but he was a genius. I mean, he created Cell. Cell was perfect. Android 17. Oops. I've always been a fan of him, believe it or not. He was just a cocky, arrogant son of a bitch. You know, he didn't care too much about anything. I mean, he wanted to look cool, and he wanted to go kill Goku, and he wanted to do it in style. And then you find out later he kind of flipped. You know, he gets a family. He protects an island full of endangered animals, which I love that because I'm a big animal lover. And he had enough heart to wish for the other universes to come back after the Tournament of Power. So, yeah, I gotta put him up there in A tier. Now, Android 18. I put her in S tier because prior to Android 18, well, prior to the androids in general, you know, Super Saiyan was a big deal, and Vegeta being Super Saiyan was a huge deal. And then she just comes up and breaks his arm and turns him into a ragdoll. Like, mad props to Android 18. And then she falls for Krillin. If only I was 3 feet shorter and had a bald head. Man. You know what? Just on waifu alone, I think I'm gonna put her up in S plus. And I think I'm gonna move Chi-Chi down. Because Android 18 is definitely more badass than Chi-Chi. Alright, then we got Android 16. Which, he doesn't have many feats in the series. I mean, he went toe to toe with second form of Cell, but I think I'm gonna put him in B. He was the trigger for Gohan to go Super Saiyan 2 and, you know, really unleash his rage. But again, he's an animal lover. I would put him higher, but he doesn't have that much screen time other than dying and kill Goku. Alright, now we got first form of Cell. And now I'm going to put him in B. He creeped the shit out of me as a kid. The voice actor, I think, is what did it. You know, giant bug, wasn't too bad. Sucking people dry to the point where they're evaporated, nah, that's a little creepy. But then you throw that voice on top of it. Yes. Yeah. Oh my god. I was like 8 or 9 when I saw that the first time, and I had nightmares about first form Cell. Excuse me. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a B tier. Then we get second form Cell. And I'm going to put him in trash. He did nothing the entire time he was on screen except for get his ass kicked and then whine to Vegeta like a little bitch when, you know, he was trying to be prevented from getting to Android 18. You know, Trunks was trying to stop him, and the only thing, Vegeta, Trunks is getting in the way. Trash. If you're gonna cry to your opponent that you can't get stronger, you don't deserve to get stronger. You belong in the trash. Now, Perfect Cell, on the other hand, I put him up here in S tier. I actually liked him as a villain. I wasn't sure how the heroes were going to come out on top. When I first saw Dragon Ball Z, I didn't think there was a way for Gohan to win. I thought we were going to see the end of Gohan. And Gohan was one of my favorite characters at that point in time. Probably because I felt like I was probably around his age when the Cell games was going on. So there was that little thing there. And you know, I was really, really pissed off after Goku started fighting with Cell, and he's just like, nope, I'm done. I don't think I can do it. Are you serious? And you think your kid can? Like, don't get me wrong, I know he's been showing limit-breaking habits since he was a baby, busting through that little space pod that Raditz came in, fucking up Frieza for a little bit, fucking up Vegeta for a little bit, but I honestly didn't think he could beat Cell. I thought Cell was gonna have his way, and I really didn't know how it was gonna end. Seriously. So, I gotta give it to Cell. I thought he was gonna be, the end-all, be-all villain for Dragon Ball Z. And he was supposed to be. And, then we get the Cell games. We get the greatest hero of them all. Hercule. I'm putting Hercule in S+. Again, this isn't based on power levels. Obviously, this is a really mixed matched level thing. If it was going off power levels, people would think I had no idea what I'm talking about. But Hercule's pretty badass. I mean, Cell decimated city after city after city, and he showed that he was a pretty big threat to be fucked with. And Hercule still went in there, and then he got bitch slapped into a mountain. But he went in there with courage and the will to fight. He was willing to die for his planet. He didn't think he was going to, because we know how he gets when he's scared. He just has to shit. That happens to everybody. Nervous guts. It happens. Sometimes you shit on yourself a little bit, you gotta go change. Takes a couple hours, get back to the fight. We understand, Hercule. It happens. S+. And Gohan. Now, like I said, Gohan, he was one of my favorite characters growing up. And then we got to the Buu Saga, which is where we see this picture right now. It's Teen Gohan. And, he kind of lost his mojo. He became a little school bitch. Which, I have nothing against intelligence, obviously. I put Dr. Gero up there at A just for being smart. But this guy, after the end of Cell games, or the end of that arc, after Gohan did the one-armed Kamehameha, and he just blew Cell to smithereens, and evaporated every last fiber of his being, I thought Gohan was going to be the next protagonist. But they turned him into a bitch. B rank. B for bitch. I mean, he did come back in the Budokai Tenkaichi tournament, and he did fight a couple people decently, but he never really revived himself in my eyes after the Cell Saga. He only went downhill. Next, Goten. C rank, along with his buddy Trunks. Individually, they suck. It was fun to watch those two fight in the kids tournament, don't get me wrong, but that was the only entertaining moments that they've had on screen prior to shooting Beerus in the face with a water gun. I mean, Gotenks was definitely awesome. I loved Gotenks because it brought their attitudes together, their playfulness and the cockiness to create Gotenks. And I loved the Kamikaze Ghosts, but separately, these two didn't really do too much, which is funny because I still like Kid Trunks more than I like Future Trunks, because at least Kid Trunks isn't a whiny bitch. Kid Trunks trains with Vegeta, so you know what? I'm actually gonna move him up to B rank. Yeah. Kid Trunks shuts his dad up, and he lands a punch on Vegeta while they're training under, I forget how much, I think it was like 1,000 times gravity, 800 times gravity, something like that. Some outrageous Dragon Ball number, which I thought was insanely cool back then, but now I get, Toriyama's just throwing numbers in there. Then we get to Videl. Videl, I'm gonna put Videl in D rank. I mean, other than being another human that learned how to fly, they tried to make that seem like it was a big deal at the time, even though we had seen, Tien fly, Krillin fly. Gohan is half human, so I don't know if that counts or not, but he was flying. The only one that didn't fly was Master Roshi because it was a crane school technique and he didn't want to learn it. But pretty much every other human that was prominent in the series at that point, I believe, knew how to fly. But for some reason, they made it seem like it was a huge deal that Videl learned how to fly and learned how to use ki blasts. Like, we have never seen it before. But she was the first female warrior since, Dragon Ball, the original series that we've seen since Chi-Chi, that was actually trying to do something. It seemed like Toriyama was trying to kind of make her important, but then she just kind of died off. Then we get Deborah. Deborah, the Demon Lord. Or Demon King. I forget. Either way, I have to put him in C. He lost to Gohan, and he was a slave to Bibbidi and Bobbidi. If you are a Demon King, you are nobody's slave. You're a king. You have slaves. So I found that kind of redundant. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. I mean, his character design is cool, and maybe if he put up a better fight, I don't know. Being a Demon King, I expected more out of him. But Gohan went Super Saiyan, killed him. Or no, he got turned to stone, didn't he? Yeah, I think so. Man, it's been a long time. I should go rewatch Dragon Ball Z. We got Majin Buu, Fat Buu. And I'm actually a big fan of him. But not so much on his villainy, more his post Buu arc, the Dragon Ball Super arc. He's playful. He likes to eat and sleep. I mean, he's like me. He's like a brainless version of me. But he's still super strong. And I always envied the fact that he has that thing, that tentacle in his head that can change things into food. There's a lot of people I would change into food and just, be done with them. Shit them out later. And, then we come to this guy, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And, like I said, I'm not basing this on power level. I'm putting it in C. I was so disappointed after waiting like 2 or 3 episodes of screaming for Goku to just get bodied. Majin Buu took everything he had and wanted more. There wasn't shit he could do. I waited all that time, because this was back before, DVDs and Blu-rays were a popular thing. I was watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. So I had to hope that the episode that was on that night was the next one in sequence prior to the one prior the night before. It wasn't always like that. So when I finally saw this, after waiting for 2-3 episodes of him just yelling and screaming, and he finally gets that long hair, I figured, at that age, I assumed the more hair you had, the more power you had. Somehow turning Super Saiyan associated hair and power level. But he went through all this just be a fun little game for Majin Buu. Majin Buu made Super Saiyan 3 Goku look like a little bitch. And so did Beerus. But we're not to him yet, so. Then we get to Kid Buu here. Again, this was supposed to be one of those end-all be-all villains. And I'm gonna put him down here in B. I mean, if they would have given Kid Buu more of a personality other than just genocide on the mind, I probably would have liked him better, but he just yelled. I say he just yelled after just talking about Super Saiyan 3, and you see where that is. So, I mean, I hope you understand my frustration, because we got no dialogue from Kid Buu at all. He's just wild, rampaging. He was like a Tasmanian devil on steroids. So, I can't put him in the same class as Frieza or Cell. I gotta put him in B. And that was the end of that arc. And then we get to the Dragon Ball Super. That's the end of Dragon Ball Z. This is the beginning of the Dragon Ball Super tunes. And to start it off, we've got Beerus, who is probably one of my favorite characters since Gohan. I like Beerus that much. He's an S+. I love his witty banter. I love the way he's just willing to blow up anything just because it pisses him off. You know, he'll erase it. Not just blow it up, you know, destroy it, erase it from existence. And, you know, his biggest weakness is food. So, he reminds me of myself a lot when I'm pissed off. So, I gotta give it up for my man Beerus. Then we got Whis. And I'm gonna put him up in S+ as well, for the same exact reason. He has such smart-ass things to say. He loves to eat. He's easily bribed with food. That's me. And yet, the other thing is that, you know, it's the angels aren't just strong. You know, they're the most powerful beings in the universe, apparently, other than Grand Zeno, who's not on this list. So it's okay if I say about that. But you know, there's still no limitations on these guys. We still don't know what all these angels can do. So far, they can create something out of nothing. They can reverse time. They can revive people, like he did with Frieza after the Tournament of Power. He just, you know, bing, Halo's gone. Frieza's back to life for real. We don't know the limitations on angels, and I think that alone, the mystery of their power, I think that alone makes them pretty cool. So I gotta put him up in S+ too. But later in the series, I may have to redo this because, you know, Dragon Ball Super is still continuing with the manga. So I don't know. Maybe after I find out some more about angels, I might have to do another list of just Dragon Ball Super characters, and he might be lower on the list. We'll see how this goes. And next we got Super Saiyan God Goku. And yeah, he had a lot of hype behind him. That's about all I can say. I'm gonna put him in C tier. You know, Goku's not my favorite character in Dragon Ball, and I don't think he ever has been. Well, he was in Dragon Ball, the original series. Goku was my favorite, and Master Roshi, because of, you know, he's a huge pervert, and I thought that was just hilarious at my age. But Goku, you know, all he wants to do is fight. He wants to fight the strongest guy. You know what? The fact that him and Beerus were possibly going to destroy the universe with their fists not matching up correctly, syncing up right when they were connecting. I know that's a power thing, but I thought that alone was a pretty badass feat. So I'll give that a little boost. I'll put that above Super Saiyan 3. And take a little break from the powerhouses here. We had Jocko, Galactic Patrol, and again, he's a huge pervert. He's a huge smartass towards Bulma. He's only nice to her because he's afraid of Vegeta. But other than that, you know, he takes care of the universe. The small-time criminals, you know, the ones that aren't going to destroy the universe. So the fact that he's on the front line like that, I'll put Jocko up in A tier. I like him. He's funny. I get a good laugh anytime Jocko's on screen, and just for his comedy relief purposes, he can go up in A tier. And then we get the Golden Frieza, and I gotta say, other than it being a color change of Frieza's final form, I think he is absolutely badass. S plus. If it wasn't for Whis and plot armor, Frieza would have won that last battle. Vegeta did the same thing that Goku did at that last minute. He let his guard down. But, Vegeta did it for a different reason. He let his guard down for that split second so he could gloat, be prideful. Ha ha ha. Remember, this time you died by my hand. But, other than that, Frieza would have won. Next up, during the same period, we see Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. And I put him in A. Again, not the biggest Goku fan. All he wants to do is fight. But I did like, this form I liked. I don't know why. Maybe it's the blue hair. I thought it looked pretty cool. Different Saiyan style, different hairstyle, whatever. But he was pretty badass. The best thing I can say about him is probably the fight he had with his son Gohan when they were training before the Tournament of Power. That moment, my heart tensed up. I might have had to change into my white pants. That was just masterful artwork. And we got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. S tier. I love Vegeta. I love everything about Vegeta. His character development, going from wanting to destroy the world to being a great father and a great husband and wanting to protect the world and protect the universe. And he wasn't even going to go fight in the Tournament of Power because Bulma was still pregnant. And so he was going to stay home and be a dad. Goku would have left. You wouldn't have even had to ask Goku. He would have been out. But Vegeta is just a great dad. He's there for his kids. He might beat Trunks up in the training room, but then he'll take him to the amusement park and he can do whatever he wants. So, dad of the year right there. Next, Broly. Broly is by far one of my favorite Saiyan. Movie Saiyan, because he hasn't been in the series. And just the Kakarot, just that alone sent chills down my spine as a kid, because I saw this back when I was like 11 or 12, pre-teen years. So I was still pretty young. I'm almost 30, so cut me some slack. I'm an older guy, still in anime. Fuck you haters. Broly was the shit. He was the legend and is the legendary Super Saiyan. And the fact that it took Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta to beat him just shows how badass he is, because he was still only in Super Saiyan form. I really, really hope that Dragon Ball Super decides to expand on him and add him into the series, not just use him as a movie villain or antagonist. Almost said the wrong word. Yeah, I hope they add him into the series somehow. It'll be really cool to see him somehow incorporated into the current arc, although I feel like it would be the optimal mistake to make, but I'll get there when I get to that certain person and why it's a bad idea. And speaking of bad ideas, we got Super Saiyan God Vegeta, which we weren't introduced to until we saw the Broly movie. But before that, we never saw Vegeta go Super Saiyan God. We only assumed he attained it off screen. But still, Vegeta is one of my favorite characters. I'm gonna put it up in S tier. I love his one-liners. especially about his own kid. What is a Super Saiyan bargain sale? Just classic line. And well,
He was a prison bitch.
what Nappa said. Now we got Kaba. What the heck? There it is. Yes. Super Saiyan Kaba. Or just Kaba. And he was cool as an idea just because, you know, his planet Sadala is still around. I'm gonna put him in B tier anyway. But yeah, I'm putting him in B tier purely on the thought process that he could possibly spark a new arc in the future. He did promise to show Vegeta planet Sadala, and I hope that's a way for the universes to start somehow, you know, cross-traversing with each other. Inter-universal travel. I don't know what else to call that. It's not interdimensional, I don't think. But it'll be pretty cool because then that would be a way for, you know, all the universes to interact with each other. I don't know. But that's my reason for putting him in B tier. Just because he could be a good plot starter. Next we got Frost. Cheap, knockoff Frieza. Trash. I have nothing good to say about this guy. He used poison to win all his matches in the little tournament of destruction between Universe 6 and 7. And you know, he waited for enemies to be weak, which is tactical. I see that being tactical. You know, you wait for an easy opponent when you're in a tournament of power for the survival of the universe, but he is nowhere close to what Frieza is. He is trash. Next, we got Hit. And Hit, I love as well. His time skip, he forced Goku to his limits that we haven't seen before. I just think about that funny because you say that in every single arc of Dragon Ball Z. You know, Goku gets a new form. This character pushed him to limits we've never seen before. Just seems, you know, funny to me. Sorry. Anyway, off topic. Hit is the leader of the Universe 6 survival team, and yeah, he has time power. He can skip forward in time. He can save time in a pocket dimension and then store an opponent in it and then, you know, assassinate them. There's still moves that we have not seen Hit use yet, which is probably the only reason he's not in S+. I would love to see his assassin moves. After that, I'm sure he could go up into S+. Then we got Super Saiyan Blue Goku with the Kaioken. And I thought this was badass. Anytime Goku does Kaioken, I think it's amazing. I was a big fanboy of that way back when he used it against Vegeta in the Saiyan Saga, and I'm still a huge fanboy of it. That's probably one of my all-time favorite Goku forms. Let's see. Now we've got the Grand Priest. And again, you know, we don't really know much about the angels. All we know is this angel here is the strongest angel. He is the right hand of God, pretty much. You know, he is, he often seems like the mastermind behind God. Or the Grand Zeno, I should say. You know, he's not God. He is the God of gods, of gods, of gods. Supreme ruler of the universe. And this is the guy that seems to give him all the ideas. And I have some hard feelings towards him being such a creepy little bastard. But I also think he's badass. And I'll put him in S tier. I mean, he created that whole little pocket. He created a whole new dimension in the void, pretty much. That void dimension, just for this tournament to happen. Well, I don't want to say that, fans that know more than me are probably going to hate if I'm wrong. They're going to leave shit ton comments about how it's bad. It was never stated that he created the dimension of void, but he created that huge ass arena in the dimension of void. And yeah, his powers are probably far more limitless than the other angels, which we already, as far as we know, are limitless. So, but I still don't like him as much as Whis. Then we got Zamasu, who I put in trash tier. I think he's Hitler. That's it. He's Green Hitler. Next, Goku Black. And I'm going to put him up in S tier because he's one of the first villains that I thought was, I don't want to say a cool concept because that's really stupid to say. He was a cool concept, but that's not what I thought. I thought he was going to win. I mean, with the Saiyan anatomy, anytime they get hurt or die or come close to dying and they come back to full health, they get that boost. And Zamasu made him go through it over and over again so that he would reach his strength to the point where he was able to go Super Saiyan God Rose, the pink hair. And yeah, he blew a hole in Vegeta. Super Saiyan God blew Vegeta. I really thought he was going to win. Again, there's Fuse Zamasu. I'm putting him in Hitler tier. But yeah, just to continue, the only reason that he didn't win is, plot armor. Goku had the Xeno button. It's like Hashirama cells for Dragon Ball Z. It was absolutely ridiculous. I hated that that's how they had to win, to use the freaking Xeno button. But yeah, I loved Goku Black. And that one phrase that Trunks says when they go to fire at a regular Goku, and Trunks is like, "He's not black!" Anyway, moving on, we have the Trio de Dangers. And I'm going to put them in D tier. All three of them. I don't remember their names. I just remember that they were the Trio de Dangers. And I couldn't wait till they were off screen. I don't know. I can't explain why I disliked them. I just really disliked them. And I was super happy to see them go. Now, we've got Topo. Topo, I put up here in A tier. I love the fact that he was all for his justice up until that last point where he said, fuck justice, give me power. And he got the little God of Destruction title, aura, whatever, around him, that purple aura. But up to that point, I liked him. He stood for something. He was all about fighting for justice, fighting for what's right. Goku was the villain of that arc as far as everybody else was concerned. Goku is the one that put everybody else's universe in danger of being erased. And Toppo was right when he said it. So I gotta give him credit where credit's due. He was fighting for what's right, and I do have a strong feeling towards that. I like that, and it's somebody, even though I'm a Nerdpool. But the only reason he's not higher is because he didn't keep his morals. He didn't keep his sense of pride and justice. So that's why he's A ranked. Then we got Kakunza from Universe 2, I believe. Yeah. And I hated her. Trash. And Brienne. Trash. I ranted and raved and yelled at my TV anytime these two were on screen. And the power of love? No, fuck you. I couldn't wait to watch you get blasted by somebody. I wanted to watch somebody blast you in the face off the stage. Ah, I know that sounds horrible, but fuck them. Now we got the Namekians. Let's see. This one is Saonel. Saonel. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I actually had to look it up. Saonel and Perinia. I thought they were cool. They put up a good fight in a Tournament of Power against Gohan and Piccolo. And their teamwork is amazing. And the fact that they did the Forbidden Namek fusion. Pardon the noise in the background. A bunch of motorcycles just started going past my house. Don't you love it when a gang of motorcycles goes past your house while you're recording? Me too. Anyway, I always liked the Namekians. You know, they're a peaceful race, but these guys went and did the forbidden technique, fused with every Namekian on their planets just for the survival of their universe. And their fight against Gohan and Piccolo was pretty cool. So I'll put them in C tier. Next, Kale. Female Broly. And I'll put her in B tier. Again, knockoff. Universe 6 again is the pairing, matching twin, so to speak, universe to universe 7. But I thought they could have been more creative with their characters. This is easily just knock off Broly. And I strongly disliked that, but the fact that she developed as a character through, you know, her little time on screen into a little rage monster, that's why I'm going to give her a B. Otherwise, she'd probably be in trash. Then we've got female Goku, Caulifla, and I loved her. She's like Goku if Goku was a train robber from the Wild West. And I will give her an A rank. I can't wait. I really, really hope they expand on the universes. At least on Universe 6. I would love to see their development. You know, since they've all become Super Saiyans, Kale, Caulifla, and Kaba, they've all become Super Saiyans. I would love to see where they progress from there. And then those two girls fuse and they make this one, Kale. And I thought she was amazing. I thought she was kind of hot for a Saiyan woman. Not gonna lie, anime woman looking pretty good. But I didn't like that she didn't have enough screen time. But the fact that she's so badass is why she's up so high. If I was to base it purely on screen time and her small amount of development through like one episode plus 10 minutes into another episode, I'd probably only put her in D tier. But she's hot and she's powerful and she's badass, so she's in S tier. Deal with it. Next, we got Dispo from Universe 11, who is supposed to be the fastest person in the universe. Where have we heard that before? Berter. Yeah, I didn't like Dispo. He's a rabbit. He looks like a knockoff Beerus that wants to be, you know, something better, but he's just fast. I put him in C. And he's lucky he gets a C tier. Then we get God of Destruction Topo. And you remember how I liked Topo so much? Just regular Topo? I didn't like God of Destruction Topo at all. At all. You know, all he was for a challenge for Vegeta to overcome. Other than that, I didn't like him. He lost all his morals. He threw them all away just to obtain this power. I thought that was a cheap cop-out for him. Supposed to be a Pride Trooper. He did not live up to his Pride Trooper name. Now, we got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, evolved Vegeta. And I personally think this was an amazing moment on screen. You know, he put every last ounce of energy he had into fighting Toppo to overcome him, to show that Saiyans are not something to be looked down on. And Vegeta's, you know, my all-time favorite character from the series. So S plus for that. Let's see, we're almost done. 4 more. We got Ultra Instinct Sign Goku. And I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world who was jumping out of their seat when he hit this form. I loved it. S tier. No, actually, I can't say S tier. I'm going to say A tier. That moment was just so hype. Everybody thought Goku was dead. He fell into his own spirit bomb. And then, you get the whole void universe rumbling and trembling and shaking. And then you hear Krillin say, "Isn't it obvious?" And then he comes back in that huge burst of light and that music playing in the background. Oh my god, I was jumping up and down. Yeah! No shame. I loved it. Then we got Jiren. And if it wasn't for one moment when Jiren threw an energy ball towards the fan stage to try to hit, Universe 7, I would probably put him in S or S plus. But because of that, man, he's got to go in A. It's a thing with the Pride Troopers. Just seem to be abandoning their morals. But I thought he was badass. They're not supposed to be able to fly or levitate in this world of void, but he's there meditating anyway and has rocks because floating all around him because of how strong he is and how strong his mental prowess is. And then he throws it all away like a cornered animal, and he starts going on the defensive, and he throws an energy blast towards the stands. I lost respect for him. He lost points there. So he's going in A. But he kept up with Ultra Instinct Sign, and he even blew it away. Twice? 3 times? My boy Jiren is a badass. I hope he works on those morals a little bit. Get something better. You develop a friendship through that tournament with Toppo and the other Pride Troopers. So I don't think we've seen the last of Jiren. I hope he comes back. And then we've got Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. And he's probably the only form I can say that I can put in S+. But not because it's on Goku. I put it in S+ purely for the form alone. It was Bruce Lee inspired. The mastery of self movement. The concept of it is just phenomenal to me. The fight animation through it was amazing to me. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I think I was smiling so hard that my eyes were watering and my jaw was hurting. When Ultra Instinct Mastered Goku came on the field, it was the end. I don't know where they're going to go for there. I mean, where do you move past mastery of self movement? Well, we'll probably find that out soon in this arc here. Moro. The Planet Eater Moro. I really don't like him. He's supposed to be like a end villain, end of an arc type villain, the way it seems. But I really don't like him. He's a thief. He does not obtain any of the power through, hard work or training or anything. He steals it. And I don't know. I have no respect for that. But the only thing that's keeping him in B tier is the fact that he can use magic, and I like magic. And I gotta be honest, I really thought he was going to be more of a challenge, but the fact that the Angels got involved in this arc really, really pissed me off. I do not like the divine intervention. I wanted Vegeta to be the one to get the win against Moro, and Miras comes in and smashes his stones and shit. And yeah, I have no respect for Moro. The only reason he's in B tier is because he can use magic. Alright, guys. Well, that's the end. That's all the characters. I hope you enjoyed this. I plan on doing more, not just tier lists or whatever, but I want to do, anime, manga, comics, horror flicks, action flicks, whatever is a nerddom, and everybody has a nerddom. So it should be very interesting. Oops. Wrong button. Future episodes will be very interesting. I'll also have guests coming on. If you'd like to be a guest, shoot me a comment. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see everybody later.